everybody, today I'm going to be reviewing the game Roll and Rails. Now the object of Rolls and Rails is you're going to try to score the most amount of points by the time the game ends. You're going to basically be building your own railroad empire, you're going to be laying down track, you're going to be shipping goods, and you're going to be doing this by the use of dice. So let's check it out. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and get your goods set in your city. So you're going to go ahead and roll 3 dice. And I'll go ahead and roll these. And then you're going to look at this chart over here, A, B, C, D, E, and this is going to represent the numbers on the dice. A will represent number 1, for example. So I've rolled 2 4s and a 5, so that means, let's say I pick this city. I'm going to go ahead and put 2 reds in, and then I'll also put in a gray or a black. I'll just use a black in this case for this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll the dice, and I'm going to go ahead and place all the goods in the cities that are available to me. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. So depending on how many players you have, you're going to have a certain amount of dice. We're going to have a 2-player game, so that's going to give us 9 dice that we're going to use. So we're going to go ahead and roll the dice, and then everybody's going to go ahead and start taking dice. So let's just say I take number 2, Taylor 2 takes number 5, and then he's going to go ahead and go again. Basically taking 2 dice on his turn. So he'll take the 2, I'll take the 6, I'll take another 2. Let's say he takes this and then this, and then I will go ahead and take this 2 over here, and this die will get discarded. So each of us will have 4 dice that we'll be able to place onto this board. There's 3 actions over here that are going to allow you to place tracks on the board. These will be the numbers that you'll be able to use in order to get the track. You can place up to 3 dice on here, up to 2 dice on here. So for example, let's just say I put a die over here. This is going to allow me to build a curved track. So for example, if I wanted to take this action, I would just go ahead and build a curved track, something like this, from one city to the next. And let's just say I was red. Also, this is going to cost money depending on where I place the track. If I place it on a plain like I did, it's not going to cost anything. If I place it in a forest, it's going to cost 1. If I place it through a town, that's going to cost 1. If I place it in a mountain area, that's going to cost 2. My money resources are going to be located over here. So since I placed 1 track through a plain, I'm not going to have to take off any money. You'll note that there are blue lines on the map. These are rivers. If you build a railroad through a river, that will cost $1. Right here, this is a straight track, and this is a sharp track. So a straight track would look something like this, and then a sharp track would look something like this. And again, you will go ahead and pay the amount of money depending on where you placed it. Right over here is what is called your rolling stock. Your rolling stock is going to be up in this area, and if I were to put something on the rolling stock, let's just say I happen to have a 4 and I placed it there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mark off one of these trains. This is going to cost me $1, so I'll go ahead and mark that off. Now what the rolling stock is going to allow me to do is going to allow me to ship goods further depending on my connections. A connection is going to count between a city and a town, or a city and a city. So right here, this would be 1 connection. So if I happen to have, say, another connection like over here to this town, and I was able to deliver goods to this town, this would count as 2 connections. My rolling stock is 2, so therefore I will be able to ship a good from here to here. And I'll be able to go further the more rolling stock that I have. Right over here, this is going to allow me to ship goods. Now, the way shipping goods works is I will be able to take a good of a certain color and deliver it to a city of the same color. So I would be able to deliver a red good over here to a red city. So let's just say I happen to have something like this, and I wanted to ship a good. I've got a red over here, I've got 1 and then 2 connections. I have a rolling stock of 2, so this will allow me to ship a red good to this red city. I will go ahead and mark off, and I will go ahead and get 2 points for the 2 connections that I used to deliver the good. And I would go ahead and put this over here. Now you'll be taking this action again after the end of everybody's turn as a free action. You'll be able to deliver. This will give you an extra good that you can deliver on your turn. If you do that, you will go ahead and put that point value over here. This point value is going to be for any points that your opponent gets for using their railway system. So if for some reason you were delivering the good and you happen to have another person's railway over there and you decide to use it, he would get a point for you using his connection. So anyway, let's just say I have managed to get 2 points, and I can use this for 2 different things. I can use it as victory points in this section, or if I want, I could just add it over here to my resources, 2 of them. So let's just say I decide to do the 2 like that. Now over here on the rolling wheel, you're going to have similar things. Now whenever you set your dice, you're going to put one dice in this area somewhere. This is the mechanic. This is going to allow you to add to a rolling stock like I did with this one. Right here is the engineer. This is going to allow you to build one more track. This right here is the manufacturer. You'll be able to fill in a new set of goods to any city on the map as long as there are any empty spaces available. Let's just say we happen to have a town over here. So what you would simply do is you would go ahead and just choose 3 different colors. And let's say I decide I want to put them in here. I'd go ahead and put a red here or something like that, a blue here. And again, I can just kind of choose whichever ones. And let's just say I do a green over here. Over here we have the logistician. This will allow you to ship an additional good in the round. Right here is the urban planner. This will allow you to turn a town into a city. The way that works is you just have to have a railway that is connected to the city. And then you'll go ahead and choose one of the available colors over here. So let's just say I choose green, and then I'll just go ahead and color this. And then you'll go ahead and choose 3 different colored goods, and you go ahead and fill that city up. And then right over here, this is the banker action. This is going to allow you to add $3 to your resources. So I would just do something like that. Now, whenever you're playing dice in these areas, you're just going to have to follow the rule. You can play a 6 and a 5 here, for example. You can play a 5 and a 4 here, for example. And these are your dice manipulators. What you can do with these is you can change the value of the dice in 4 different ways. You can change the value of 2 selected dice, and they just have to be the same as 1 die. So, for example, if I had a 6 here and I wasn't happy with these numbers, I could turn 1 into a 3 and then another 1 into a 3, and then I could go ahead and play them in these different areas. And whenever you use the dice manipulator, you're just going to mark it off. This will allow you to change any die value up or -1, so you can change a 5 to a 6 or a 6 to a 5. This will allow you to turn a die to its other side. So if I wanted to switch to 6, I could change it into a 1. And then this one will allow me to match a die. This basically means that I can change the value to any of the other dice in my possession. So if I had a 2 here, I'd go ahead and change this die to a 2, and again, I would go ahead and mark it off. So just to kind of take you through a turn, let's just say these were my dice over here. So let's say I play the 6 over here. I have a 3, I'll say I play the 3 here. I have a 2, I'll play the 2 over here, and I have another 2, and let's just say I play the other 2 here. So on my turn, I'm going to go ahead and add 3 to my total here, and then this is going to allow me to add some tracks. So I've got 2 straight tracks. So let's just say I decide I'm going to go to track here. Let's just say I decide I'm going to put a track over here. This is going to cost me 1, and this is also going to cost me 1, so I'll go ahead and mark 2 off. I also have a curved track here that I chose, so let's just say I decide I was going to do something like this. That's free, so that's not going to cost me anything. And then after everybody has gone, I'll be able to ship a good. So let's look at my chart here. I've got 2 that I can use. So let's say I've got this green good over here. Let's just say I decide I'm going to go ahead and ship it over here to this green city. It's the first green city, so I'll go ahead and ship that. I'll cross that off. That will give me a value of 1, so I'll go ahead and place it over there. And let's just say I'm going to go ahead and take it for the victory point. And so you're going to go ahead and go through 9 rounds in this particular game. Afterwards, for the final score, you'll add up the victory points that you earned, and you'll place it here. You look at how many connections you've made. Right now I've got 1 connection, 2 connections, 3 connections. You'll place it there, and then you'll total up your score, and whoever has the most amount of points at the end is going to win the game. Roll and Rails could very easily be a board game. I could definitely see this game having some nice railroad pieces, a nice board that has maps that you can manipulate. I definitely think this could be a really good board game. As a roll and write, it works fine. You really have a lot of control as to what you want to do. If you don't like the dice, you can use the dice manipulators, even though you only have a limited amount of them. You can build your own railroads. You can try to build on your opponent's railroads as well, and try to get them to use your railway system. So you have a lot of control as to what you can do. I really like it. It also has a solo mode. It has a Florida map that you can use for the solo mode. It also has several different maps that you can use. You have one of Germany. You have one of Scotland. It's very cheap to buy since it is a print and play. I would definitely recommend it to anybody that likes roll and writes. It's more complex than your typical roll and write, and this is what the company specializes in. They like to make games that are more complicated than your typical roll and write game for people who like more advanced games. And I think this game works well. You have a lot of different choices you have a lot of different control as to what you can do. So I would definitely recommend checking it out if you are a fan of worker placement games or roll and write games that has a more complex twist to it. All right, guys, that's my review of Roll and Rails. We'll catch you later. Keep on gaming.